everybody. This is MC Recovery jumping off again. I had to change clothes, try something different. Uh, right in these YouTube streets, the TikTok streets, the Instagram streets. This is the first time in many years I ever heard anybody speak on politics. The vested interest in politics is going crazy now. And it's all because of what? Plantation politics. Trying to maneuver these different individuals. I don't know if it's really on both sides or not. Do you know? It's like people have been Democrat for so long with a whole lot of family members of Democrats, family members of Republicans. And it's like, oh my God. And when it really supposed to be about things to do for the people, for your vote, is you getting your bucks on your votes in your interests. That's what I believe that most of this should really be. So before we get the show started, remember to subscribe, hit that like button, share it. And man, Trump administration in the first 60 days is delivering results. And what has the Dems and the liberals, see, I'll make the thumbnail like that, gave us. Do you know it has gave us lately, besides a lot of shame, insults, guilt, fear, racism, division, poor school and lack of schooling, and homes and housing markets crash, high gas prices, a whole lot of pump faking going on. So, that's what I have on that thumbnails there. So let's just get some of this started, because within the first 60 days, this is a lot that people didn't got for their votes and a lot of results. I don't remember the last time, so I'm gonna get back to you to speak on some of this. But let's see, as the result of this, what y'all been watching on the news, does that compare to what's going on in the TikTok, Instagram, Rumble, YouTube streets? And until then, let's just check it out and see, sure. Because, man, these streets is not playing. And let's start off with our girl first. And then I want y'all to really listen to her this time and see, do you understand anything what she's talking about? And if so, put it down into the chat, because every time they speak, it's like spinning the narrative to walk and get you into believing that these are the things that you can mind readily see what's happening up on the scene. This is how this cognitive type of word salad stuff jumps off, because I've been in a lot of meetings where a lot of representative and individual counselors, social workers speaks this way.
Way that our government was.
And here it is. Here's why Rep. Jasmine Crockett is frustrated with Republicans. See, now it's gang banging time. Check it out.
Set up was that it belongs to the people. And I really want the people to really believe that. And so we've seen the town halls. I want you to keep showing up to town halls. I want you to call their offices. I want you to show up to their offices. I want you to be on them like white on rice. And I want you to tell them, play with me if you want to. I will fire you in a heartbeat. And I say, hold everybody accountable. Dems and Republicans. Now, for the most part, I feel very confident about the Dems, for the most part. But hold everyone accountable. And so there is no reason for us to bend over and help them with the type of harm that they are trying to inflict. There is no
What
reason.
arm?
There should be not one Democrat that votes for this. That is my stance. And I stand on that because no matter what kind of district you come from, this is nothing but hurt, right? And so, I think that we need to make sure that we keep bringing the alarms. The Republicans won't even go and do town halls right now.
Right.
That's the official advice, is to not do town halls. But they sat up and met with Elon just yesterday. I think he came to the Capitol. Now, I'm sorry, but Elon, why? They met with him, but they won't meet with the people that elected them. Like, that's a problem, right? The way.
See, and this is what I'm talking about. They won't meet with the people that elected them. Baby, y'all wasn't the people that elected them. So they're meeting with someone. And some of us at this place of the juncture, hey, if you're getting what you vote for, you don't want to meet with a party that's giving you the majority of the things that they said they was going to do. So this is cognitive dissonance. And I know our boy, Kosher Clinician, go over there to his channel. He breaks it down to the fullest extent. This is a lot of the cognitive dissonance. This is a lot of moving the goalposts and all of that sort of jargon and things. But let's look at some more to see, because you see, I got Bernie Sanders on the thumbnail holding a book about capitalism, but yet he got enough money to capitalize on that book he's holding. Think about that for a minute. What will he do with that investment? Or many of those investments for those books. So let me see if I can find the next one, because that's something really to think about. They say something about capitalism, but yet they make funding and money off of the very same things that they say they want to block people from doing. Millionaire, billionaires. But yet, in order to run for president, you have to know president and stuff. You have to know millionaires, billionaires. Because I never heard them say it's a board of middle class individuals wanting me to run. But check out this part. This is the part that cracks me up too. Tell me, what is she talking about right here? She got 5 minutes. So we're going to jump right over here. A lot of people heard this. Where are you? Wait, wait. I, let me make sure I'm not screaming, y'all. I am. So let's get this thing started. Now we can really get busy, okay? Now this is her speaking here, and wait till y'all hear this. This is like, I guess she's using a lot of her lawyer
Communication capabilities to fill gaps in rural and public broadcast capabilities. Sent to enter into the record the 2019
She
chairwoman.
can
I would
talk like
ask
a
you now,
lawyer.
unique reach, reliability, and role across America, and are especially vital.
I think that's right here. I should have. It's right here.
Reported on the murder of George Floyd, they quote, represent a danger to our physical health as well as to civic health of our body politics. Miss Mayor, do you think reporting on the murder of George Floyd and highlighting instances of systemic racism is a domestic threat to America?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I believe it's our responsibility to report on all issues of interest to the American public.
Thank you so much. Ms. Kerger, what about you?
I agree. I think it's important for us to report on the important news of the day.
So let's talk about the critical role of public media. During his first term, President Trump's
The important news of the day. So you see her say that George Floyd lesson, flip-flopping. Now, fair use, go over there and listen to it, and then she's gonna move back to that question and and use shaming tactics.
areas. Mr. Ullman, what's a more significant domestic threat, reporting the murder of George Floyd or dismantling most of America's emergency communication systems?
Now she asks another guy.
Can you please repeat the question for me, Congresswoman?
Which one is more of a threat, reporting the murder of George Floyd or dismantling most of America's emergency communication systems?
Dismantling the emergency systems.
And
It's
isn't it
common
true
sense.
that
You
in
asked them.
Barrow, Alaska,
And she didn't ask them ladies that question, a double tongue question, because that's his job to take care of that. You was asking them a question that the media went full blast, and everybody on the left side went like, whoa. Because look, the George Floyd thing was very horrific. I pray for his family and that they get over that. And the spin they did on that, Black Lives Matters, and everybody marching the street, and you wanted to paint it on the ground, write it right on the streets and towards y'all mall and stuff. And now you're gonna come and ask him a twist question just to get to this fake representation of how she's really fighting for the people.
is the only, I'm sorry, and
Yeah.
isn't it true that KBRWAM in Barrow, Alaska is the only broadcast service available in an area of more than 90,000 square miles?
That is correct. It's also
Alaska.
the North Slope, where the majority of all the oil production that comes from Alaska takes place.
Thank you so much. And isn't it true that without these stations' broadcasts, Americans in rural communities would lack access to life-saving information and public safety alerts?
That is correct.
So in your opinion, would eliminating funding for stations in rural America like WNGH, Channel 18, and the Chairwoman's District hurt Americans?
It would hurt Americans, yes.
In fact, Georgia Public Broadcasting serves as the official distributor of evacuation route information during state-ordered evacuations, and the chairwoman is here advocating to strip their funding. Look, the DOGE agenda isn't about government efficiency. It's about breeding corruption at the expense of the safety of the American people, particularly Americans living in rural or remote parts of the country. They don't care about public safety. They don't care about emergency management, and they don't care about free speech, all of which are harming American people. In fact, I'm going to skip off real quick because they have tried to come for you, Ms. Mayor, and I just want to clarify, you did not work for NPR when those statements were made, did you?
That is correct,
And
Madam.
to
What
be
statement?
clear, free speech is not
Who's
about
making these
whatever it
statements,
is that
you or
y'all
them?
want somebody to say. And the idea that you want to shut down everybody that is not Fox News is bullshit. We need to stop playing because that's what y'all are doing in here. You don't want to hear the opinions of anybody else. And the Constitution says Congress shall make no law respecting or establishing of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the
The gentlewoman's time has expired.
Yeah. And you got to remember, what is she talking about of religion? Anti-Semitism on things of that nature. What is the real representation that she's doing? Is in her district, is she representing her people as if, because she have been doing a whole lot of social media dancing around. It's almost like I said, she's just part of the distraction, the narrative to spin a web of narratives. Yes, if that's going on there. She's reading something, but then she put up the real facts and data that this is what's going on. And that's way over there in Alaska, where you said oil is over there. Yeah. And this is exactly another thing that's in Trump agenda is that he want to tap into some of that oil. So let's get back to tap into some oil instead of us shipping it from overseas. And we're dealing with tariffs. We're in the tariff stage of politics. And this is where it's like what I would like to say, now it's time for us to do some growing up, to learn what's going on, and to see why we need change, because a lot of people been like, chipping off us. And our boy, Barry Cunningham, let me just play some of his stuff because he was getting down earlier. And I'm going to just randomly pick a section. Randomly pick a section to where, he's just basically saying this on his show. Okay, y'all, and I don't know what he's finna say here. I'm just randomly picking something. So this is not Barry. This is
Donald Trump was serious, and I think
you know what, if
it's his show. So let's check it out.
But it's a little bit longer of a 10, so let's do this.
Here's the 10 spot. 10 stories that you just gotta hear. Number 10.
this White House's effort to reshape government, to reshape culture is total and complete. And I think the point of this administration is what Donald Trump promised, is retribution. The point of it is that kind of get back for a group of people who feel as if they have been targeted over the last several years. And they see that as greater than the point of calibrating to the median voter, right? So sometimes when I go back to some of these officials and I'm like,
I hate when people say, right. No, not right. Not right at all. We don't care if there's retribution. Do you have any idea what some of us went through? Do you have any idea how so many people were kicked off of Twitter pretty quick? Give me a second so I can configure this so you guys can take a look at it.
Which number is this? Somebody bounced it. Yeah.
Left-hand screen.
Oh, yeah, this one. Maybe that must be his mini pop.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so we're going to get back to the 10 in a second. I got this launch ready to show you. Thanks, SV, for letting me know about it. We are 2 minutes away. 2 minutes.
In front of Mission Control.
Here's the launch.
Stage 2 LOX float is complete.
Throttle back up on first stage Merlin engines.
Stage 1 throttle up.
Confirmation, we're back up on power on the 9 Merlin 1D engines.
Stage 1 Bravo.
1 Bravo
Copy,
called out
1
by
Bravo.
the crew. That means if there was a need for an abort with the first stage now emptying itself of propellant, Dragon would fly a different profile than if, say, right off the pad we'd had initiated. Waiting for the MVAC-D chill call.
Couple of minutes, we'll have the entry burn on the first stage, which is currently making its way back down to Earth. And we did perform a boost back burn on this one.
Yeah, we did a 1-engine boost back burn. We didn't have, normally when you launch to the east or northeast in a crew mission, you take advantage of the Earth's rotational velocity. But in this case, we're pretty much going straight south. And so you don't get that eastward velocity. So the first stage needed to use a little more propellant. Dragon copies nominal.
Launch escape system disarmed.
Oh, another good call out. They're in orbit where they want to be. They've disarmed launch escape system. Doesn't need it anymore. We're 191 kilometers up. We've got the view of the crew. Right now,
All right, let's
Dragon,
let's get back.
the second stage is going through a very short period. We're making sure that we're pointed in the right direction. We've got the engine shut down, purging gas, and it's separation.
So it's called fanfare.
From 2 crew is flying on its own on Dragon.
Dragon, on behalf of the Falcon team, we're honored to deliver you.
Well, that was part of the blast there, y'all. So let's get over here to like number 9. You can go to Fanfare, Barry Cunningham, and check out his show. You can go to Fanfare, Barry Cunningham, and I mean, let's look at what's number 9 and wrap this show up. Because wow, dang, golly, y'all know that blast was like a real blast. Woo-wee. Man, let's see the other reason.
Nick said, what if we didn't even have to pay income tax because we're so rich from tariffs?
Check this out.
How did you not take these people seriously? RFK Jr., who's just starting, everybody said this was going to happen. And I'm just thinking, if you're in your studios in Washington or New York, and how can you be sitting there wondering, how did this even happen?
Talk to reasonable independents or moderate Republicans, and they're all kind of wincing a little bit and taking a step back. And they're privately telling me, you know, I'm not as comfortable as I thought I would be with some of these issues. And so I wonder if this comes back to bite him in some way.
Unless you can put those people on television and they're telling you specifically they were MAGA and now they're worried, you're lying. Period, point blank, you're lying.
They ain't that worried. These people got money. And then check out this position.
Emails and communications, they don't want them to, they definitely don't.
This is Mike Benz. If you've been following Mike Benz on X, you know what he's talking about. If you don't, you should follow Mike Benz ASAP.
Want them to have the transfer of money flows. This was the sort of thing that even the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which directly oversees U.S. aid, could not get access to until the present moment. Senator Joni Ernst had an X-Space with Elon Musk where she said when she tried to do oversight, she was threatened by U.S. aid. When USAID ran the Zunzanillo op in Cuba in 2014 and the scandal popped off who approved this, and it turned out it was all in-house at USAID, what Senate staffers said was when they tried to get oversight of this operation along the way, they were told that if Senate staffers found out what USAID was doing, people could die.
Number 8.
So this has been going on for quite
So I'm just saying.
some time.
I'm just saying. Rev up after the blast so you can see the rest of the 10 countdown news for today. Until then, you know your boy, the MC Recovery, does not play. All right. And just feel free to get back to the show, and I'll see y'all later. Peace. That's about it, y'all. Wait a minute. This map, hold up. Let's see what LC been talking about in Bernie. And y'all like the thumbnail, like wouldn't you like to be vice president? Let's check out what our girl LC been talking about. See, because this is a trip. So you know that's 8 days ago. But what has they been talking about lately? So it's a lot of hoopla hollering about her. Now, you know they did this the other day, fighting the alligator. So let's trip off of this for a second. And I mean, this is going to be a trip. And I'm going to skip. I got it up there. Let's get this part out the way. Fair use. Let me see if I can find the part where they came in at. And here it is. Let me see if y'all really comprehend what they're talking about. There it is. Oh,
briefly, and what Tucson. Mi casa es su casa. And this stop here in Tucson is particularly special to me. It has really special significance in my heart. I was very, very close with Raul Grijalva.
Well, I guess she's playing the good cop.
And
Jasmine playing the bad cop. She playing the good cop. Do y'all remember those movies and sitcoms? That's what I believe was going on here. All switch and bait.
Before I dive in,
and I believe they both can be distractions.
But I just kind of want to share with you a little bit about what he meant to me very briefly, and what Tucson means to me by extension. And I know Bernie and Greg are going to say some remarks as well when we wrap up. But you know,
and do y'all know what I'm thinking about? Could somebody send me a clip for if she says something particular about what is this Monday for? This Monday is Cesar Chavez Day, but you got to remember, is the relationship with Puerto Rican and Mexican tight? Because we don't celebrate what's that guy? Nelson Mandela Day right out here, but yet we know of him. That's basically the swing of things I was just trying to say right there. But man, let's check this out.
you know, when I was first elected in 2018, I was a waitress and I had won this upset fight. I had challenged a very, very powerful member of the Democratic Party, and we won in a totally upset primary election. And we won with no money, with just everyday people in our community coming together, outspent by millions of dollars. But people just coming together and believing that we deserved better somehow broke through. And it was a miracle, genuinely a miracle. And when I first got to the House, though, by extent, when you kind of unseat someone that has a lot of power and a lot of relationships in Washington, the reception that I first got on Capitol Hill was very hostile. It was very cold, and it was very, very, very lonely. And we all have our own experiences, but it was hard when you walk into a room every day and you're just met with so much contempt. But the first door that I walked into in Capitol Hill, the first door that I walked in was Raul Grijalva.
I don't know who that is. Let's hear it some more.
We're here together because an extreme concentration of power and corruption is taking over this country like never before. And we are here, most importantly, because we know that a better world is possible.
See? And all I want to say, the last time when Trump was president, hey, it really wasn't a lot of things jumping off. This is when he was president, the news made sure that they shame and insult my Caucasian employees and friends, because I have a coworker that's named Karen, and she was very upset. She like, man, I really wish my name wasn't Karen. And this is what the spinning of these narratives happen. Like, let's stop Elon. But it's almost like we're creating code switches and putting batteries into people back for reactionary purposes. But now, feel free to go. And I know a lot of y'all done seen the Forbes thing, but what? Will it be race, gender, plantation politics, jumping off, shame, insult? We're right there wrong.
Se puede. But to get there, we need to be honest about where we are, Tucson, because we are witnessing an oligarchy in America. When those with the most economic, political, and technological power destroy the public good to enrich themselves, while millions of us pay the price. And our political system is ill-prepared for this abuse of power. In fact, much of our political system enables this abuse of power, starting with the role of money in politics.
Well, they all have backings, and a lot of people that went there. And you remember when Chris Como said, if you can believe who's up there in those rafters, you won't believe it. And I got a pretty good idea. So fair use, go to look and see if you can dissect some information up out of that. Hopefully, if I see you playing this on your show, I just may cam up. And it's been 31 minutes, and I wanted to see if I can catch up to see if I can find Bernie up in here. But I don't know. Let me see. Could I find Bernie up in here? And let's bring her down. And because I know she's gonna do a lot of talking, because I imagine that Bernie wanted her to shine. Is this Bernie? Yeah. So let's get a little bit of Bernie in and to see how he's finna come. Even though Bernie, is supposed to be like an independent, and that's why I put him in the middle of the thumbnail with that book on capitalism. How so ironic. So let's get it started.
Of the Progressive Caucus in a 2-year period. And not only in Austin, but all over the country, he is doing a great job. So I just want to thank Alexandria and Greg, not only for being here today, but for inspiring millions and millions of young people all across this country. And I want to just say a brief word about our friend Raul Grijalva. I was here in Tucson a number of years ago when I was running for president. And at that point, we didn't have 20,000 people coming out of meetings, and I wasn't very well known. And what Raul did, he said, I like what Bernie was saying. I was just talking to Alita a few moments ago. And he said, Bernie is speaking what has to be said. And he had the guts to come out and endorse me and take on the whole Democratic establishment. So we will never forget.
So, in code, someone came out there to endorse you to take on the whole Democratic establishment. What that say there? That even he know it's some odd things allegedly corrupted and warped ideologies over there. See, especially when another person, whoever this Raul, the mayor, the governor, came out there to support him. Because you remember Bernie was saying some good stuff. All of a sudden at work, I was hearing everybody, man, I'm for Bernie. I said, I don't know that guy. Why y'all trying to get me be focusing on him? He's talking about the student loans now. Now I know that was a eruption up under COVID, but let's listen to some more.
Raul Grijalva and his dedication to the working families of our country. Look, my message today is simple. And what this crowd tells me, and by the way, we had 36,000 people coming out in Denver. We had 15,000 in Tempe, and now we got some 20,000 here.
Do something. No, I got one guy let you know. Bill?
And what it tells me is that the American people will not allow Donald Trump to create an oligarchy in America. They will not allow Donald Trump to create an authoritarian society. They will not allow the billionaire class to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, veterans programs.
They're not cutting. What has happened, things need to be downsized and revamped. You know.
Title I funding, which will impact that school profoundly. We're not going to let them decimate the programs that the working class of this country needs in order to give more tax breaks to billionaires.
Tax breaks on what? He wants to get rid of taxes. So, you know, this is just to make a long story short. They don't want to make it seem as any of us are listening. And I didn't play the Jasmine screen of her whitewashing Donald, Representative Donald. And until then, you know, this is Donald, but man, that was enough. And go over there and see the countdown at Fanfare with Barry Cunningham. And hey, I could go longer, but you know, I got to get this boy in the bed. And I'll see y'all until next time. Peace out and subscribe.